Hey guys, welcome to season 2 of our little dynasty. We got Boise State up for the first game against Pasadena. They scored a field goal, so we're gonna try to have to go in there and get our first score of the game. We're gonna see how Sorpsy really performs here. I mean, the O-line early on wasn't really that great, so that kind of was a little bit of a scary thing. But we did know our QB was a dot. I mean, he was throwing passes like that all day, throwing tight windows, and we get our first score to go up 7-3. But then they also score. Defense couldn't hold them, so they're gonna go up 10-7. Again, Sorpsy was just putting all of the balls in the basket. I mean, look at this, and it's gonna lead to his first rushing touchdown of the season, putting it up 14-10. We got him on an early 3rd and 1, but they got it. Also, their massive transfer, St. Clair, got hurt within the first quarter, so they're going to be with their backup quarterback for the rest of the game and probably for the rest of the season with the torn labrum for that quarterback. So it's going to be looking good for us. But again, the backup quarterback stayed strong. He stayed steady, and he's in there for the score of 17-14. So we know this game isn't going to be crazy easy. Sorpsy makes a nice pass to Austin Clay, a huge person for us last season, and we end up getting a field goal out of it, so it's 17 up. And then Sorpsy makes this absolute cannon of a throw to our other newest recruit, Shamarius Peterkin, which we hope will be a great prospect for us in the future. And Austin Clay for the second score. So now it's 23-17. We got a sack, so make it 3rd and 20. Boise State's quarterback looking for something, but the pressure's too much, so we get the stop. Sorpsy trying to make some type of playmaker, but he gets intercepted. He gets overzealous. He's trying to be a little bit too confident there. But we also subbed in our receiver from the transfer portal at corner, and it was a great substitution because he gets his first interception in the first game in a very clutch moment to give us the ball back. And then Matt Penny, our newest recruit, makes a gigantic catch, and Penny goes back to back. I mean, this is one of the better receiving threats in the nation last year as a high schooler, so we were really counting on him to be a great asset to this receiving threat. So after back-to-back stops, we stopped him and they stopped him. Their backup quarterback just did some insane shit because he just started to break tackles and go for the touchdown of his own. So maybe seeing St. Clair down was his opportunity to take over Boise State, but we're not going to let that happen because Peterkin gets one more, and we end up the game 43-24 for the first win of our season. And for the first game of Florida State's season, they do have Missouri, and they pull out their rivals unis. Anderson trying to find somebody here, doesn't see anybody, and he gets intercepted trying to throw at his running back, and they end up scoring 7-0. Anderson steps up on 4th down and gets it, and they're going to try to get the running back Ozama involved here, and that's exactly what they do because it looks like it's going to be a 10 or 20 yard gain, but then he just bends this corner and takes it all the way to the house. And this is that type of dangerous speed that you see out of Osama where you think that he's good and he's going to, get that 20 yard gain, but then he just turns up and goes all the way to the house. Makes 3 people look silly right there just to get 3rd and inches here. And the 3rd and inches doesn't happen, so they try to go on 4th down, and Anderson tries to do his best, but his receiver, drops the ball. Ozama making people miss. That's what he does. 14-7 now. And Ozama's hit on a wheel route, and he takes it all the way down to the 20 yard line. Still 14-7. Trying to get something out of Anderson here, but Anderson just not throwing good balls. Just throws it right to the DB in double coverage, and that DB goes all the way down to the 8 yard line. They end up scoring 21-7, and Anderson tries to throw something but gets intercepted once again. So that's going to be the end of the first game for Florida State. Missouri is up, and for the second game, they're going to go against, they're going to go against Minnesota. And Florida State tries to do their normal run game scheme, and Ozama looked like he did some really good things against Missouri, so that's why he's going to get the opportunity to get some more touches. As you see, back-to-back touches here, and you're gonna see why he's really dynamic of a player. Does have potential for sure, because you're gonna see plays like this. Now it's 1st and goal here for the Florida State Tridents. They're gonna try to get their first score of the game, and as you can see, some great blocks, and Ozama's in for the first score of the game. 7-3 after the defense forces the field goal. Florida State trying to get an answer here, but it is 4th down, so they have to make sure it can't be too reckless. And that is exactly what he didn't do, because he threw right at the linebacker. Defense forces another field goal, so it's 6-7. And again, goes on 4th down, and they do not get it. So Missouri has a great positioning to score, and that is exactly what Missouri is aiming to do with this pass, putting it right in between some players. And they're forced to another field goal. Defense is playing very good, but you know who's not playing very good? Anderson. Anderson just throws another interception, trying to just get some type of offensive rhythm. It is now 12-7 after another field goal. Great stop by the defense. It's 4th down. Can Anderson get this first down? Nope. Intercepted, which makes the score 19-7. The defense finally crumbles after holding the opposing team to 12 points throughout 3 quarters. And Ozama finally gets his touch that he's been wanting, gets that score, but Anderson throws right at the safety, and Brown takes this all the way to the house, pretty much ending the game here. But Anderson still wants to try to get some type of play out there, so he's going to throw something deep, which does not connect, ending the game, making them 0-2. Moving on to Memphis versus South Dakota State for their first game of the season. South Dakota also got some really good talent from the transfer portal and the recruiting board, so we're going to see what this new rejuvenated offense and defense can look like, because we did see that they had a terrible end to the last season. They went 6-0 and ended up losing a lot of games straight. I think it was 3. So we're going to see what can they do different this season. Can they make sure that, you know, they don't taper off at 6 or 7 wins? And on the first play of the drive for Memphis, I mean, they just take off and they just go all the way to the house. So I think that's going to really give Flowers a fire under his butt, because he gets an immediate score as well, showing them that they are going to be there, and they go for 2, so it's 8-7. They get the lead. Memphis quarterback makes a nice throw, cross body, little bit of a sidearm pass to get the first down, and then they got him on 4th down, and they try to test the corner, but the corner gets head topped, which is insane, because that was one of the newer recruits there, and they thought they had something good for the defense, but obviously they were wrong. Flowers throws a nice ball and gets the second score of the game. Flowers is showing his talent last season, and now it's really starting to show, because he's taking over this game. 3 straight touchdowns. Memphis obviously scored, but 21-14, they look like they have a good chance to get it, and they stop them, so they punt, giving them the ball right before the end of the half. We're going to see if they can score. Another standout receiver was Harrell. Harrell's going to be more of a primary target for Flowers this season, and we're going to see if they can start to connect here. The end of the half was uneventful because both teams didn't score after stopping each other. So we're going to go straight to the third quarter, where Flowers is on an early 4th and 6, trying to find something. And he tries to throw this little ball, but he gets intercepted, making it a better chance for Memphis to come back in this game, because they're still down 1 score. And that's exactly what they're going to try to do here as they get into the red zone. And with pressure on the quarterback, he tries to throw something at the right pylon, and he gets intercepted, and the corner goes all the way down to the 30-yard line, giving them a great return for South Dakota to get something on offense, because they've been kind of cold throughout this game, and Flowers just unloads the trailer and just throws an absolute bomb to the receiver to make it 29-14. Memphis quarterback's trying to respond here, because they've been also cold since the first half. I mean, both teams were kind of just slowing down, but you never know. Maybe they could have a little bit of a Cinderella story and get this comeback. We'll see. And he tries to rifle something in the middle of the zone, but he throws it right at the safety. I don't know what he's thinking there. So it gives him another chance to score again. Flowers rolling right, and he sees a contested one. And it's honestly a similar ball to the beginning of the game where he just gets intercepted again. I don't know if he likes getting intercepted in that same way. Controversial PI there on 4th down, but Memphis get the ball and do nothing with it. So the Flowers and South Dakota State end the game 29-14. And honestly, the second half was pretty uneventful, but nonetheless, even though his completion rating was not that great, Flowers 300 yards passing and 4 touchdowns, still a great performance for the first game of the season. Early in this game, on the first drive, they end up 4th and 7. They try to test this corner here, but he doesn't catch it. The defense gets a stop, and then another 4th and 5 here for South Dakota, trying to find some type of play. They get an underneath route. They do get it, and they end up scoring. Flowers looking, hits a more of a shallow route, but they do get it, and they end up scoring. Now Baylor trying to find something on offense. Baylor's quarterback sees nothing, tries to scramble, ends up 4th and 2, and they obviously don't go for it. They punt. Flowers on 4th and 6 now, trying to throw something deep, and he does get it for the touchdown, second score of the game. Now Baylor's trying to answer here, and their running back makes an insane Ashton Genty looking type of play, just going through the entire defense and just running straight forward for the touchdown, making it 7-14. And then Flowers ends up throwing this deep ball right over the entire defense, and he's not going to stray away from what he's been doing earlier in the season. And Baylor gets their second touchdown, so making it 21-14. As Flowers trying to answer, throwing to the left pylon as he loves to do, and he does, making it 28-14. And they get the stop, so then Flowers goes again, but he throws a questionable pass, and it's intercepted by the linebacker from Baylor, giving them a chance to score, but they end up scoring a field goal. And now that South Dakota was on 4th down, they end up stopping them, giving Baylor a chance to come back in this game. But the quarterback had other plans because he tried to run like he was Michael Vick and got strip fumbled. So this gives South Dakota a good chance to redeem their mistakes and score once more, which that's exactly what they look to do, because Chauncey Cobb runs through the entire defensive front and goes straight in for the touchdown, making it 35-17. Baylor's quarterback looking a little bit flushed in the pocket. He could have stepped up in the pocket, but I think he's just a little bit nervous to play against South Dakota maybe. And South Dakota takes this opportunity to sack him, and they get the ball back and score, making it 42-17. And this game's looking all but over because he gets sacked for a fumble again, and that's pretty much the end of the game. I mean, they score once more just for the highlight reel. And after that last score, Baylor tries to find something on the goal line, but the quarterback's flushed again, throws a questionable pass, and that pretty much seals the game. They get one more chance at the end of the game to score, and South Dakota gets their chance because they immediately just throw this deep ball and pretty much shock the entire team, just pretty much stating you had no chance in this game. And with Flowers leading the charge with another great performance, the whole team is celebrating for their second win of the season. 456, 66 complete rating, and 7 touchdowns for the South Dakota State quarterback. Pasadena found themselves in an early pickle for the second game of the week against number 14 ranked Nebraska. This is a team that we got to be able to beat to just even get in the playoffs or go deep in the playoffs. So we're going to see if we could do it. Early, we got into a 3rd and 6, but Jamil Charles gets his score, putting it up 7-7. The defense gets a stop, so Sorbsy trying to find something. Use their playmaker, but we can't get it. So it's on 4th and 32. Sorbsy just throws up a fucking ball. Matt Penny can't bring it down. Maybe we should have punted it there, but you know what? We just trust this defense, which we shouldn't have, because the first play immediately took it to the house. We end up scoring, and this ties it up 14-14, but we had to make sure we stopped them before half. So that's what we're going to try to do. But this defensive pressure is really not getting there, and Dylan Raiola throws a nice ball, making it 21-14. Sorbsy trying to find somebody. Who else than Shamarius Peterkin? Like I said, he's going to be a big problem for other teams this season, and Jamil Charles as well. I mean, both of these players are very dynamic, and Dylan Raiola throws a nice pass to end the half as a stunner, scoring and making it 28-21. Sorry, and Sorbsy again finds Shamarius Peterkin. I mean, I'm telling you, he's going to be a really big threat this season. He's just been all over the field, always open. And speaking of always open, 13 on Nebraska has been cooking us. I mean, Dylan Raiola and him have been connecting all night, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. So now the score is 35-28 after Sorbsy's nice pass to Peterkin once again. He's trying to roll out to the right once more, trying to find Macer, getting the first down, getting a little closer to the goal line. Sorbsy looking for another touchdown, which he does get. Jamil Charles getting his third of the night, sorry. But Dylan Raiola again throws a nice ball on fourth down, but our DB makes a great play stopping them. So we're on the goal line here, but no one's faster than Jamil Charles in that flat route. He gets his fourth of the night. But Dylan Raiola immediately answers, and we have an injury timeout, but luckily it was just a cramp, so it's nothing too serious. Sorbsy trying to look for something, and guess who else? Jamil Charles has been all over this game, and he's not going to slow down here. Our run game has been really, really terrible because of the run defense, so we really can't pass as deadly as we could, and that play action really shows it. And 41 makes two great moves to make it 49-42, making Sorbsy really had to answer this call here to get this touchdown. Who other than Austin Clay from last season to come back here and give us a good chunk of 30 yards. Sorbsy trying to find someone and finds Austin Clay in a big moment to make it 49-49. Dylan Raiola trying to get into field goal range here, and our defense has really not been playing as great as they should be, but we do get a sack to make it to overtime. And in overtime, we call a screenplay to Jamil Charles because he's been one of the biggest threats in this game, and we're going to try to rely on him and Shamarius Peterkin, and that's exactly what we do as those two are in for that score. Defense really can't stop 13. I mean, he's been torching us all night, and like I said, it's not going to slow down. Dylan Raiola trying to do some magic, and he does, stepping up in the pocket, throwing right, getting that touchdown 56-56, and he throws this laser of a pass right behind our linebacker, making it 64-56, putting the pressure on Sorbsy to make something happen, and the game is over. Sorbsy tries to force a pass to the right pylon, and it's intercepted, so we get our first loss 1-1, and we definitely want revenge later in this season if we ever meet them, because that should have been our win. And this is going to be Florida State's third game of the season here. They're going to go against Mississippi State, find themselves on the fourth down, but they do get it. And Uzomah is going to be looking like a really good Heisman candidate. I mean, you're going to see plays like these where he's just taking off on people. It was some great blocks, but a dynamic athlete makes great blocks from first downs to 20 yards to absolute touchdowns, whole shots. Anderson hits his tight end. He reaches for some extra yards, giving Uzomah a great chance to score. Weatherly, a great offensive weapon from last year, if you guys remember, gets some usage here. He hasn't really got a lot of usage this season, as I say, because quarterback's just not really hitting him. You know, quarterback, we don't really have the quarterback at Florida State to be really getting the full usage out of the receiving stats they have at Florida State, and that's why they're really relying on this running back as he throws a pick six here, trying to get him. But this is why we're really relying on him, because Anderson has just not been able to throw good accuracy balls. I mean, he's just really having a hard time reading defenses or evading pressure. He's really just not that consistent of a quarterback. And even though he throws some nice balls in this game, you might see that Florida State has some trouble with this quarterback. But for nonetheless, Anderson is doing okay in this game besides the pick 6. So we're going to just focus on that for now. Anderson is going to get on multiple fourth downs, but they're going to complete them all. You know, you're not really an efficient offense always being on fourth down, but at least getting them. Unlucky, he gets hit out of this sack for his second pick 6 of the game, but nonetheless, it is the end of the game, 35-17. And just for shits and giggles, the running back gets another one, 134 and 4 touchdowns on the ground. A great performance. The third game of the season for Pasadena, we go against Kent State here. We're going to really try to get a bounce back week after that loss against Nebraska. We're going to try to use this easier team to try to do some strategies and play calls that we didn't get to use against a better opponent. But early in this game, Kent State did try to go no huddle here, so we're going to see how great that goes for them. And it looks like it's going to be going good because they get a nice 7 yards. 3rd and 5 now. Quarterback looking and batted pass, but they end up catching it, which is insane. And Kent State quarterback trying to find something on 3rd and 14. He throws a rifle, which makes it 1st and goal, but we stopped them twice. 3rd and goal. Throws another tight spiral through our defense, making it 7-7. Shamitas Peterkin gets a nice clutch catch on 4th down. And our tight end, Boardingham, for a nice gain of 20. We get sacked on 4, so they end up getting the stop, 7-7 still. We get the stop, so we get the ball back, and Jamil Charles is wide open on 4th down, which is a clutch conversion here. And now the score is 14-14. Who else than Matt Penny to get a score in this game? And Shamarius Peterkin takes the top off the defense, making it 21-14. So it looks like we're gonna try to run away with this game. And Peterkin again, 2nd touchdown. So he's really taking this game into his own hands. Sorbsy looking very accurate. Austin Clay for another touchdown. 43-7. We're running away with this game. Kent State's quarterback tries to throw something up, but our sophomore corner makes a good play, and they missed the field goal. So it's looking really good for us here. Sorbsy airs it out to Shamarius Peterkin again with this 3rd of the game, so he has a hat trick here. And they test our quarterback. They test our corners again. Alante makes a nice play. Even though he doesn't intercept it, he bats that ball away. And Shamarius Peterkin for his 4th of the game, just running this game away. And putting up an absolutely insane stat line here. Kent State trying to do something, but we know they're not going to do anything here. They're just, trying to make this somewhat competitive, but it's not going to happen. And that's how we end the game with a sack, putting his 7 sacks in the game here. And a great comeback game for Sorbsy and this Pasadena offense. Defense has always been playing mediocre. We're trying to get to that next level, but we hope our defense and our O-line can play better. And for the 3rd game of the season for South Dakota State, they're going to be going against Buffalo here. And Buffalo looks pumped and ready to go. So let's hope that South Dakota is as well. Chauncey Cobb trying to get some runs going. They like to get their play action pass here. And as Flowers is rolling right, he hits his tight end to make the score 7-0. And Buffalo's quarterback gets flushed. He gets a nice run around, and he ends up throwing a good ball, but it's intercepted, which is a great play by the DB and a very terrible play by the receiver. Flowers rolls right again and throws a nice ball to the right pylon to his receiver, making it 14-0. And Buffalo's receiver makes a nice catch on 3rd down, makes one man miss, breaks the tackle, it goes all the way to the end zone, making it 14-7. And Buffalo gets the stop, so they do put up 14-14 right before the half ends. And we're going to try to see if Chauncey Cobb can lead this team to a score right before the half is over, which they do with a link up from the receiver and Flowers here. Flowers trying to look right, and he sees a tight end here getting a nice ball for the opening drive of the first half, trying to make it 28-14, and that's exactly what they do because they roll right, and Flowers throws a nice ball to his receiver in the back right pylon. And the defense ends up getting the stop here, so they get another chance to score. And the receiver, Smith, makes a nice move on the inside, and Chauncey Cobb gets his first rushing touchdown of the game. making it 35-17. Buffalo's quarterback steps up, makes a nice play on 4th down, giving them a good chance on the goal line, and they do, hitting a slant here to make the score 35-24. Flowers trying to find something here, and he does. He finds Harrell, a great playmaker for South Dakota, putting them in good position to score to cap off this game, and that's exactly what Chauncey Cobb has in mind, getting his 2nd score of the game. And after getting scored on, it is now 42-35. And it looked like the game was in the bag here, and it did look like that until he threw a pick 6 almost near the end of the game, making it 42-37. And Buffalo trying to just find something here. He throws up a prayer and doesn't get it, and it gets also batted to an interception. So even though Buffalo looked like they could win, they actually scored 20 points in that 4th quarter. So, you know, they actually had a chance in this game. And for the 4th game of the season for Pasadena, they air it out to Tulane, which is a quick score. I didn't even get a finish talking about Buffalo before he just absolutely aired it out to Peterkin. And then on the 2nd drive, they get a stop, and Sorpsey throws 2 nice passes to Penny and Alante to make this score 14-0. And I'm just going to skip a little bit ahead because we were just scoring all night long. I mean, 27-14, scoring 30 points in the first half, and I'm pretty sure that we end up doing it because Sorpsey tries to air it out one more time, and Alante gets his first score of the night, making it 34-10. And again, another touchdown, or at least close to a Peterkin on the right side. Sorpsey airing it out, trying to find somebody who other than Peterkin. Yeah, I mean, this game was going to be ran away with anyway, 48-10. And Jamil Charles gets a nice run, which is very rare because we really don't have the run blocking for this game. But Jamil Charles gets his first score on the ground in this game, and Jamil gets another one in the air, and this was probably the best run of his entire season so far, making it a nice 80-yard run, putting a statement on Tulane. And honestly, Tulane had no chance in this game. 69-13, there was nothing but scores, and our defense did a good job holding them to 13 and getting the sack to end the game, making a statement, getting 3 sacks. After we shake hands with the coach, we already knew that we were the better team here. I mean, just look at the stat line: 547, 82 completion rating, and 8 touchdowns. There was no chance. And as for the Week 5 game against South Dakota versus Florida State, you're going to see Flowers here on an early 3rd and 7. And Flowers is going to get intercepted, actually, by Peterson, giving Florida State Tridents a great position to score here. Anderson looking for someone, and guess what? Ozama, the Heisman candidate, gets this bomb, making it 7-0. Flowers looking for his answer back to that score. He's going to make a man miss and get the first down, get the yards to gain. And then he's going to make a nice move on this play action and make a nice throw to Malachi Clark, getting the first. And CJ Smith ends it off with the touchdown, sorry. Him and Flowers have been a huge connection as of late, and they've been really an explosive part of this offense. But speaking about explosive, so was Ozama, because he gets his first down and the touchdown. So it puts up 14-7. Flowers trying to find something, and guess what? Malachi Clark again on the sideline, and shades of last drive, except Clark finishes his own touchdown this time. Anderson trying to throw something, but we've seen this inconsistency already. He's not really the greatest under pressure or even in clean pockets. He's just unreliable quarterback. And honestly, Josh Flowers is just throwing things up here, and the DBs are not reacting. So it's going to make it 21-14. Anderson trying to get away, but the O-line is not holding up for him. And Anderson trying to find something. He throws a prayer up to the post, and he gets picked off. And Franklin gets tackled down near the 45. Flowers is going to try to find something here, and he throws a bomb to CJ Smith. Absolute stunner to bring out the half. Anderson going to try to answer with the touchdown of his own. We're going to see Ozama make a man miss and throw another man off of him. I'm telling you, this guy is going to be first-round talent for sure, and you're going to see why here in this game. He's been a big part of this offense, and maybe the only part that has been redeemable besides Weatherly. And as I say that, he does get intercepted. You know, he causes that interception, and Heckle, a very great developing DB on this South Dakota team, picks it off and takes it to the end zone. So we're going to see what Anderson can do here. Anderson's looking for someone but it's just a terrible throw. And you know, you can't be making off-platform throws like that if you aren't able to do it. We're gonna see if Josh Flowers can do something, and he unloads right in between two safeties once again. CJ Smith, a similar touchdown to the last drive, and I'm telling you, they're gonna be a big part of this team. Those two's connection is really something special here. DN breaks through on the right side. Flowers scrambles left, makes a man miss, makes two miss, and he gets to 4th and 3. A good yardage for terrible blocking there. And then Josh Flowers is going to get to his tight end, and he's going to get into the end zone. Flowers hits the right pylon for the score. Clark gets his second of the day. Anderson trying to do something out here, and he's going to throw a wheel route, which is a nice throw, nice catch. And like I said, Ozama's going to be the only part of this offense that's redeemable, and he just gets there. Josh Flowers just throws an absolute dot right between two people while he's getting hitting Harrell, and they're going to do an RPO for Chauncey Cobb, getting the score, and pretty much going to finish this game out. They do score at the end for Florida State, but just a little bit too late. You know, a lot of inconsistencies for this team, and I do believe Florida State has the right coaching, but they just got to find the players to do it. So we're going to see if they can pull it together here. But Josh Flowers, another great game for him. And early they see themselves 6-0 against Northwestern. Anderson's trying to find some answer to that loss last week. He's going to try to shake off that inconsistency, but it's not going to work because, I mean, it's already 13-0. There's a lot of turnovers here, especially this one. I mean, you got to know when to bench a quarterback, and maybe sometimes this is the best quarterback that you have, but even that is not a great ball. It's just an absolutely insane catch by the receiver, and right here the O-line doesn't help that fact, and someone try to pick up the ball, but they can't. So fumble 6, putting an even bigger hole for Florida State, 20-0 after they go for 2 and don't get it. Anderson trying to get something out of this, and they do. Anderson's trying to find something here, and he finally connects for the longest reception of his game, hitting his running back, and they settle for a field goal, 23-3. Coming back is totally optional. It's only up to this quarterback, and he doesn't do it because he throws right into two people, just not giving this team a chance. I mean, you got to put it in the right positions, and you're throwing to a running back. You got to remember, you know, it's not Randy Moss you're just throwing to, and he tries to throw it, but he gets hit out of a sack. So we all know where that's going to lead to. It's a loss. And Ozama then scores the first drive of Buffalo's game the following. This is going to be week 6 for Florida State. And Ozama gets 2. And like I said, you know, he's going to be a really big receiving and rushing threat in this league because he's just so shifty and so dynamic. But Anderson's going to really hold his team back, trying to hit Weatherly, but he misses him. I mean, you got to lead that more left if you're going to be throwing that type of ball. Who other than Ozama to get that first down? And Ozama's going to go follow his blocks. Great blocking, and they're going to get the score 21-14 after the Buffalo gets a field goal after the defense stopped them. And honestly, that was a nice pass, but just bad DB work by that DB. Still questionable throws. And Anderson makes a good read, but just can't get that first down. So it's going to be still 21-14 after that stop. 4th and 1 on the following drive. They're going to do a screenplay to Ozama, but it's not going to work out. Lineman didn't get out there. Anderson is going to roll left. He's going to find somebody by the logo, and he's going to get one for a nice gain. He's going to see a wide open Ozama, which is a nice ball this time. Going to be 28-21, sorry. And honestly, it was a nice game, but Ozama's really carrying this team, and you see why. The 4th game of the season for South Dakota, they do end up going against Sam Houston, so we're going to see what Sam Houston can do, as Sam Houston gets stopped early here. They punt the ball away. Harrell receives this ball, trying to get something, making a couple people trying to miss, and sees an alley but doesn't get it. So after early penalty, it's now 1st and 20. Flowers rolls to the left, throws, and he gets intercepted for the first drive of the game. A questionable pass there. I don't know if he thought he was Patrick Mahomes trying to make that throw. And on second down, they try to run a sweep, and they get TFL'd, and then they get TFL'd again. So now it's 4th and 16, and he makes a nice throw on the right side, and they run RPO and throw to the right side again, making it 7-0. They get the stop, and now they're on an early 4th down, but Sam Houston makes a clutch play to stop them, and they do get a field goal out of this, even though the defense almost blocks it, but he just misses somehow, and it's still a scoreless game for Sam Houston, but still, nonetheless, it's still 3 points. Now it's 3-14, and Flowers makes a nice throw and even better catch to make this 21-7, sorry. And then they score, so now it's 21-10. But nonetheless, defense has been playing good. Harrell makes a nice move after a catch, and Flowers looking for a wide open man, and he does see Smith throwing in the whole shot, making it 28-10. And Sam Houston over there just trying to find something, but everyone's bagged, so he tries to air it out just because they're down by a couple of scores, and they don't get it. So now they questionable decision to go for it on 4th down on your own side, but they do end up scoring, and they stop South Dakota. So Flowers needs to answer once more, and that's exactly what he does, throwing the Harrell in between zones, making it 35-17. And he throws another ball, throwing it to Smith, making this score 42-17. Sorry, and Sam Houston gets sacked by their D tackle, and you already knew Sam Houston didn't have a chance in this game. South Dakota put up a nice performance, 413 yards, 62 completion rating, and 6 touchdowns from the quarterback, and all around a great performance.